Hello everybody, how are you today? Today we're gonna go and do a different type of video today. Instead of playing a game, actually we're gonna talk about the lords, about the bosses. I'm gonna pretty much show you as my point of view of a gamer, the different lords from what I believed or I experienced to be the easiest lords to the hardest, and the wise and things that you can do to actually beat them. Some of them to beat them faster, or things that you can use to play against them. Um, well, the first one for me, I'm sorry to say, this is going to be Lady Steno. Reasons why, well, her menace is that what was the menace? I forgot. She's gonna make an immediate attack similar to Baphomet. In which case, remember that any attack that she fails, that she missed to hit, or even if you absorb, your hero is gonna add one toughness to its character for the targeted attack. And if you reach toughness 12, you die with petrification, and you cannot be revived or avoid death at all. Okay, that's pretty much it. Which the power is very dangerous, very powerful. This is well her weakness because her toughness is equal to the attacker's toughness. So that's pretty much easy to overcome. So the and why I'm saying this is the easiest lord for me? Well, I pretty much battled against her several times. And one of the examples, I played Washington map a couple of times, and the only way I have beat that map is because I play against her. Sounds stupid, but that's the truth. I'm gonna tell you a reason why. For example, you see normally I play with three heroes. You can play even with two, becomes even simpler. But the thing is that you're gonna use one of the heroes to attack another hero as a bait, and another one is gonna work for either way. So what you want to do is, for example, if you have like Amelia or Dorothy, which is the characters with one toughness, is even better. You can visit her and live. They become toughness 0. Then you everything out of hits. Pretty much you want to give her like gifts like frag grenades, girdle of truth, rat of god. Uh, if you have the D12 or D10, you want to give her rapid fire, silver bullet, etc. How many dice as you can give them, and believe me, you're gonna kill them. Because pretty much you can hit everything, or you can use any toughness 2, leave. They are toughness 1. You're gonna roll a couple of ones, but pretty much you're gonna kill her in 1 to 2 rounds, and nobody's gonna die. I have only 2 occasions which actually one hero died, and that was because she was pretty much about 3 to 4 points of life. It was just about one attack of dying, and then just let her kill my hero. It was the bait. He has toughness 9, I think it was, and he killed it. I lose 2 doom points. I didn't care because next attack I actually kill her. I could afford to doom. And a strategy you can use to even kill her faster is using these two guys, Dorothy and Bernice, and whoever you want to play as the bait. Why I'm saying these two guys? Well, it's pretty simple because the synergy between these two becomes ridiculous against Steno. Why? Well, because you want to give him teamwork, and that's pretty much when you want to get there. 6 points of courage, and that's pretty much it. Why? Because teamwork will allow him, when he helps or is helped, to get an extra d6 instead of a die boost if you want. And then for Dorothy, you want to give her, I'm sorry, inner strength. So you have pretty much need 12 courage. And why inner strength? Because she can help an ally more than once. It still costs 1 courage. And after that, just amass as many courage as you have. I did it once. I have about 20 courage points and killed Steno with one single attack, which means I added 20 d6s to Bernice. Yeah, that's as you heard. You're pretty much gonna kill her in one single shot. So that's a super killer combo on the synergy, especially against this girl. But I have to tell you that after my first game against Leisteno, I played incorrectly. I have reread the Lord, and I figure out that I play wrong, and after that I've never lost a single game when Stenos on the board. So as my point of view, Stenos at the bottom of the list. I am house ruling, starting to house rule to see if she can have like a basic toughness, probably toughness 4, but I haven't tested that one yet. I have tested a couple of times. They have cannot go below 2, which is um, the average hero's toughness, but that's pretty much what I've done. But I'm still have to test it. You can be the judges. You know how to beat her. It's pretty simple, straightforward. Give them as many dice as you want. One works as bait. The other one just pretty much attacks and she dies. Okay, that's the one at the bottom. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's my thing. The second one is Lord Procrustes. You're gonna say, why Lord Procrustes is supposed to be a super strong Lord of 3 crowns? Well, he's resilient, not strong, which is pretty much it. Why? Well, he has a 4x4 toughness, which is pretty tough, and his attack he will roll a d12. If he rolls higher, is the too short ability, which does 3 points of damage, can be absorbed with troopers. If it rolls lower, your life is gonna go down to that amount and it cannot be avoided or absorbed. And the third, if it rolls equal to your life points, you get 4 courage, and that's pretty much it. The thing is that the second ability is super strong, and I have you can put your life down to 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 in a single shot. The problem is if you have enough troopers, like 4 police cars in one character and a couple of citizen militia. No, I'm sorry. The a couple of 1 cost 1 troopers but absorb 1 and stuff like that. You can pretty much be with Lord Procrustes for about 4, 5, 6, 7, around 8 rounds. Because your heroes are really not in danger of death. That's the main problem. I point out this to Sandy. He was gonna check on it, but so far hasn't said anything. I hope that the first ability for Lord Procrustes does more damage, so that you are forced to leave faster, because 8 rounds against the Lord without actually being in danger of death is not that dangerous. And because of that, well, you can use, if you want to speed up the killing, because you're normally going to do like only 2 to 3 wounds per round, because you need 2 hits to pretty much do 1 wound. This is going to take you a while, but because you can stay there for a good while, it doesn't really matter. But if you want to speed it up, things like Sindru with his Fidget Sick, you can lower the toughness by +1 to +1. You can use the gift that they are no longer double toughness, so it's going to be only toughness 4. As well, helps a lot. Gonna do a lot more wounds. You can as well use Kowalski because of his ability of the all out, that all toughness is 2 lower versus his attack, so it becomes a 2+2. Combined with Sindri could be a +1/+1, and everything pretty much gonna hit. You can use Victor to pretty much be the center of attention, and use the other heroes' troopers to absorb damage for the first ability, which pretty much make him a lot more resilient. And you're gonna probably have 1 or 2 more rounds to play against Procrustes. But that's pretty much how it plays. He's not a real danger threat because of his first ability. I want to see if he can do more, or probably like doing like the damage in the difference of the roll if it rolls higher. But I have to playtest that. But yeah, for me, Lord Procrustes is the second easiest Lord. You just need to stay there for a good while. But well, I'm sorry to say that, but it's kind of easy to beat. It just takes times. It's kind of boring, but yeah, sorry to say that. The other one's gonna be the next one's gonna be Lord Baphomet, which should be the base difficulty level Lord. Some people have already played with it because you have the print and play. Lord Baphomet is actually kind of dangerous, and I have lost even know how to play against him a few times because he always attacks when you enter Helltime, which is his menace. He has toughness 6, the wall has toughness 5, so it's pretty good for courage acquisition, which is very nice, and doesn't pretty much have a lot of heroes that will play pretty well against it. But of course, you have Sindri with lowering the toughness. Kowalski is gonna be always be a tank and a beast against almost any lord. People like Amelia and Bernice with high attack dice works a lot, and Silver Bullet for high-end life heroes works wonders. But Lord Baphomet is gonna be like should be the base, but for me it's actually on the third from the bottom. The next one's gonna be Lord Argus, and I'm gonna say why Lord Argus instead of Lady Scylla, which is a one crown. Well, that's because Lord Argus' ability and menace rolls around the minions in Helltime. So he has toughness 6, the same thing as Baphomet, and his menace is that he adds a fiend on his Helltime tile, and his ability is that he grabs the minions' attacks, so the minions will not attack. They add those dices to him, so he can make like a humongous, huge attack, right? And if you leave the minions alive, well, a hero is gonna die, of course, but the basic strategy when you enter Helltime is that you're gonna kill the minions first, pretty much, to avoid wounds on your heroes. So pretty much Lord Argus is a regular lord with no special abilities that rolls 60-10 with toughness 6 every turn. I'll tell you, every time I enter Helltime, I kill minions. Lord Argus has no additional attacks, so he's fucked up. So that's why it's that like the next to Baphomet, though, pretty much I would say it's easier than Baphomet, but well, they're kind of too close to each other. Even though you can exhaust the minions by spawning the invasion tokens before battling Argus, and you don't have to even kill the minions because there won't be even minions to kill. And that's another thing you can do. No special characters, I have to say, against Argus, or something I will say. The next one I'm going to say is Lady Stroma. Why? Well, she's as well another double toughness lord with a 3+3. His menace is very strong, which actually you grab the hero and you put it in our mouth, and they cannot leave Helltime. Okay, and if she kills the hero, another hero takes place in the mouth, on the mouth pool. The problem is that you're gonna survive a lot of rounds, and I have played a couple of times, and only once my hero have killed because I rolled a lot of 6s on her attack, and it was kind of awful. But because of her randomness of damage is why I put it here, because normally my heroes do not die before I leave Helltime if you go well prepared, of course, right? Um, People that I choose to be honor mouthful are normally Victor or even Vernis. They're kind of the best ones to be there because Victor can use the other heroes to absorb the damage, while Bernice can do the suicide attack, right? If you learn the Death with Honor and roll, leave Helltime, leave him alone, and then he does his kamikaze attack and dies anyways. So, and because you're rolling a d6 for the Lithorama, she doesn't have regular attack dices. She attacks with a d6, and that goes directly the result to your life points damage, and it can be absorbed. So that's the reason why. So Bane with the odds, you have 50% chance to roll a 4 or higher. So normally, half the time you're gonna roll 3 damage or less. So that's why you become very resilient. You probably gonna stay for a good amount of rounds there. I probably want to house rule it to roll a d8 or even a d10, but I haven't started to play test that, and well, I have to test it to be honest with you. But for me, she's in that spot. For me, she's not that strong. I At the beginning on paper she looked super strong, super dangerous, but The randomness of a D6 is not it's not that dangerous at the end. The next one is going to be Lord Asmod because he's pesky in different ways. Because his menace is that you have to roll a d12 for each of your heroes, and the one who rolls higher falls under Asmod's control, and he's going to fight on his side. He's going to attack your heroes when it's his turn. You can still make the minions and the lord attack him, but if it dies, or if it leaves, either way, because you can choose to leave, one of your other heroes is going to roll against the dice and become to control. If you roll tied on the highest roll dice, nothing happens. I have happened that a couple of times, which becomes a useless lord with no special abilities, which is amazing, which is great, which is good. But he's a little harder because pretty much is still most of the time one of your heroes. You can use him to attack him pretty much. And if you have a very bad luck, he's gonna take your strongest hero at the moment, and then you have to leave and come back later on. And on the meantime, the minions will score doom. So he's pesky in the way that it will slow you down a little bit. If you're very lucky, nothing happens and become just a regular lord. But he's kind of pesky that lord. Heroes that will play well against him. There's really no real strategy, but things that you can make sure that's gonna hit, like Hannah Hazard with headshot, um, the Penrod double attack, Browder with silver bullet, or Kowalski works amazingly with him. Because you normally have high attacks, lower defense. It's pretty nice, pretty good. The next one's going to be Lady Zilla. Even though it's a one crown lord, she was reworked. And now she has, when you enter Helltime, 12 attacks. 68 and 60, 12, one per each snake head. She's very offensive. The defense only 5 and the snake head's only 4, but you really don't want to cut heads because to pretty much make a good stuff is to cut all 6 heads, and that means 6 pestilence tokens for each of your characters, because every time you cut a head, your character gets pestilence. Extremely dangerous. So pretty much you're gonna get a courage for each head that you cut, but the pestilence not really gonna work unless you have, of course, like I think it was Cindy. No, I don't know. I said Sissy. Not Naomi. What is it? It was Dorothy. No, it was Amelia, because Amelia can remove uh, all the tokens if you pay something, but only for one hero. So you have to be sure you have her, someone like the hunter that heals a lot, and with extra healing and stuff like that. So pretty much avoid the pestilence. But I will not really recommend to cut heads. Pretty much what I do with her is to come in, kill the minions, get one attack her back, see if I can take one more hit. If not, I just leave and come back. And normally take me like 5 visits to pretty much kill her and take some time. She's not that hard, but if you stay more than 2 rounds, you're in danger of one of your heroes dead. So you have to be very careful because she's very offensive. No, don't stay more than 2 rounds if you see you cannot survive. That's pretty much it. She's quite offensive. Just be careful of her attacks. The next one I'm gonna say is Lord Jabadu, because he's a little pesky. In which, with his manas, you have to lower one of your dice by a step. If you're not lucky with the gifts, you're gonna be weakened a lot, and that's dangerous. So make sure you always have like a dice that you're gonna bring him down, and probably doesn't affect you much. If not, well, just use it to kill minions in those cases. But he's kind of pesky in that, and his ability reward is that you get a royal token when the targeted hero takes 3 damage from him. So make sure you always take a hero that can dish out 3 damage and still stay alive because you want that royal token. And his attack, he always going to do an additional attack to the non-targeted heroes, so his attack as well is kind of pesky a little bit. His toughness is 5, so it's not that hard to hit, but you have to make sure that you get that royal token so you don't get your dice shrinked one more when you enter health time, because that is used to discard it and ignore the menace. Okay, doesn't have really that much strategy, just do that. The other one's Lord Tarask, which is the ones I hate the most. He's pesky as hell, only has toughness 4, so he's quite easier to kill, don't take me wrong, but sometimes the dice lock doesn't help much. His manas, each of your heroes take fire token, which is over here, and the reward is when your heroes take damage during health because of the fire, they get 1 courage. But the thing is that he's pesky because when you enter health time, you have to decide if you want to take the fire damage and start attacking, or you remove fire from your heroes and take the attacks from the minions and the Lord. If you want to do that, the best thing is to exhaust the invasion tokens, so you have minions to attack you, dish out the fire, and then start attacking. Because if you keep the fire, you're going to get 1 damage on each of your heroes' turn, and when the Lord Tarask attacks, each hero with fire is going to take another damage. It's going to be 2 damage for certain. Plus, if those heroes did 2 damage or more to Tarask, they get 1 damage. Okay, you can dish out the damage that you receive when attacking Tarask, but you're going to have 2 certain damage. Plus that one's going to be at minimum 3 if you keep fire, so it's kind of dangerous for that, and some heroes will not be able to take that more than 1 round and add with his attack later on and survive. So you have to be very careful what you choose to do first. Probably a good amount of dice attacks will work pretty well. A lot of these 6s, well, you have to force 5s and 6s. Not highly recommended. These 8s will be what I use the most normally of the time, but he's kind of pesky just make sure what you want to choose when you enter health time with Tarask. Keep the fire or dish it out. Study the situation and choose accordingly. The other one for me, Lord Girion, even though he has a toughness 4, he's pesky as hell because when you enter health time, each of your heroes is going to lose 1 luck, 1 courage, and 1 life point, which is actually a lot. If you cannot dish out luck or courage because you don't have, then they take another additional damage, which is kind of dangerous. And when he attacks, an injured hero will lose a luck, another injured hero or the same one, 1 courage, and as well 1 life point, depending if Howard Fine, or Howard 2 are alive. So it is quite dangerous. I normally go from the most threatful one, like Howard 1 is the one that removes luck, which you pretty much don't have that much. Fine removes health, and Howard 2 removes courage. And because the reward is that you get courage per wound inflicted to Howard 1 or 2, I normally go out in order from Howard 1 or Fine and then Howard 2, but it takes a lot of time to do that. If you cannot kill it quickly, you're gonna suffer the side effects of his abilities. That's pretty much the strategy I used. If you use another one, you're welcome to share. Then the toughest lords, we're gonna start with Lord Catan, because even though he starts with D12, 6d12. His mana says that you're going to add a d4 to his attack box or increase a dice by a step. He can have more than 4 tokens of single attack dice at a single time, except for the d12s, which can have as many as he wants or as he can. The basic strategy I used, to be honest with you, normally, or the best strategy is to use Victor Steel. He have 2 toughness, right? He earns 1 toughness via gifts. So if you can have a gift to add an additional token before landing that one, it's going to have toughness 4. And you can use the troopers to absorb from your different heroes. So the D4s on his attack box pretty much are useless on that attack. So you can give them the 4 D4s before actually giving a D6 and so forth. So you don't have to increase that many dices, and it will work like he didn't even have those dices at all, because the 4s against a 4 toughness, they would never wound. So that's a strategy, the best strategy I've seen and I've used. And even though he still throws a lot of attack dice, you have to be careful. If you cannot use Victor Steel because of that, or any other hero with toughness 4, which the ones who can go to that is Kowalski and Tarank, using a gift and his gift panel, as you can see, because Tarank gets an additional toughness, so he gets toughness 3 plus a gift to add toughness 4. Kowalski can get to toughness 5 actually. If you play these two, plus before landing that one, you can earn it an additional toughness. But pretty much what I do if I don't have steel is to add a dice up to reach the 12 and then add another one. So I try to keep these dices as minimum, because even though are D4s, mostly your heroes are 2 toughness, and it's 50% chance that those dices will anyways hit. So I prefer to have the less amount of dices as possible. That's the way I play it. It works for me. If it works for you, that's great. If not, well, try to get them. As a Lesser Lord is still very dangerous, has about 8 points of life or more, depending on the amount of heroes. So it's still always dangerous in end-ups, about 10 to 11, 12 attack dices before it dies. So it's kind of dangerous. It's very offensive, just be careful about that. The next one for me is like one of the hardest lords on the game. Even though he has toughness 5, it's not that hard to hit. The thing is that his attacks, even though are D8s, wounds every single hero. His menace is that you're going to add pestilence tokens equal to the amount of heroes that enter a hell time. So if you have 5 heroes or 5 pestilence tokens, you can give 1 to each, or you can just give 2 to 2 heroes, 1 to 1. But that's very dangerous, because when he attacks, he's going to make 1 damage per pestilence marker on the heroes who have them. So if you have 1 for each of your heroes, is gonna mean that a possible 7 wounds to each of them. So that's dangerous. That's very, very, very dangerous. People like Dorothy, which wins them, you should pretty much uh, share the damage to the other ones, or Victor Steel to use troopers to absorb from other ones. Work shit in here. They don't work at all, because he wounds everybody, and you will not survive more than 2 rounds with Humbaba. So you have to come back several times, and that's extremely dangerous. Um, and you have to, and because when you leave, you have to take pestilence. So it's very, very, very dangerous. I haven't found the best way to beat him is someone like Kowalski or Sindri to lower toughness and attack him with D8s and as many D8s as you can to have more dices as possible. But he's very dangerous, so you have to be careful with him. Make sure you don't stay longer. The other one, for me, the second more hardest is Polgastor. He doesn't have many super strong abilities. His menace is that you roll a d6, and if you roll lower, you lose toughness permanently. So, for example, somebody like Amelia or Dorothy have toughness 1. It's never going to happen. But the ones that take more damage is when you increase toughness, or like John Dark or Pembroke has toughness 3. If you have a bat rolling of a 2 or a 1, they go down. So you have to be careful with that. And the thing is that you have to kill it in the first stage. He will heal back up, go to the second stage, you have to beating him again to get to the third stage and kill him again. So you have to kill him 3 times to beat him. The first stage is pretty simple. Only toughness 3, so you can pretty much kill him early in the game. With D6s, you don't have that. You don't need more than that. The second stage, you need at least D8s. It will take a little longer to get prepared for that one. The hardest one is going to be the third stage, because if toughness 7 is kind of hard, even though with D8s is 1 of an 8 chance to wound. If you use D10s, which is more preferred, you still have 1/3 of a chance to wound, and D12 is almost 40%. So that's the preferred one, but it's hard to get all your heroes with D12s. So you pretty much want to get to D10s, see if you get lucky with the additional D8s, help your heroes to get to the desired attack rolls. But his last stage is very difficult to take out, even though it doesn't have special abilities. He's a lot of toughness, and you have to come back a couple of times. So it means that your heroes have danger of go down to 1 toughness. So you have to be careful. People like Penrod and Syndra as well, who lowers toughness for the last stage, are pretty much the most or the preferred ones if you want to beat him. Victor Steele as a target, use the others' patrols, should work the best. But I normally play with heroes randomly. I like to take my chances. The last one, nonetheless, for me is Orvas because of the resilient of toughness 9, which means that even with a D12, you only have like 1/4 of a chance to wound him. And he's kind of nice because, um, for example, on his menace, I think he attacks. Yeah, he does an immediate attack. And remember that if one of your heroes takes 3 or more damage, you're gonna give him a royal token. As well, the hero who was targeted gains a royal token as well. So you're normally gonna add like 2 royal tokens if in the case, but it's kind of dangerous. And the royal tokens can be used to either heal 3 points of damage when you discard it during the hell time, or add a d12 to your attack, which is what you want to aim the most. And you have to come back several times because with those abilities, and you need someone like Vernis because he learns 1d12 right from it, so it's pretty much like a needed one. Kowalski is very useful, so you lower that toughness to 7. And you have to be very careful because he's very tough. I just play against him a couple of times, have not killed it. To be honest with you, for me, they're like the toughest of them all. Very, very, very strong. Those are my whys and my list of the lords from the easiest to hardest. I'm not talk about Cthulhu or the Spider Mastermind because Cthulhu is like fucking awesomely strong, especially because even though he randomly has the number of attacks with the D4, if you're lucky and rolls a ones, then you have nothing to worry about. But if he rolls 2, 3, or 4, you pretty much that hero is gonna die or be very, very weakened. And the Spider Mastermind, which every visit does more attacks, so you have to be careful. Okay, so see you next time, guys, and take care. Happy gaming.